Geek Dad Life presents live discussions on Star Wars Andor. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to live discussions on Andor episode 10. My name is Jay, and with me on this journey of Star Wars discussion, as always, are my friends Ralph, aka Casino Skunk, and Matt,
hello,
aka Everyday Inventors. Gentlemen, how you doing?
There you go. That's usually what I'm waiting for is how you doing? Good. I'm doing well.
Good. I'm glad.
The Star Wars show is amazing.
Oh my gosh.
I have never. Now, I'm an easy crier.
Okay.
Easy crier. I'm a mark to cry in things.
I know. We know this.
But I have never cried in Star Wars as much as I cried in this episode of Star Wars.
Really? Wow.
It bawling like a baby from like 10 minutes in. Like it's basically all Kino, like just Kino's
Kino
journey in this, just everything. Every time he had something to do, Andy Serkis's performance, like his facial expressions, just the you could see what's going on inside of his head, and then when he's actually speaking, and then up to he had an amazing final line last week, but then his final line this one, that I can't swim, like bawling like a baby.
Well, don't you think that he would live though?
Oh, he can't because he can't swim. The one way out is to swim.
Didn't he just give a speech to everyone on there, to those 5,000 men, that if you see someone falling down, pick them up, help them? Like, I feel like somebody should do that for him at that moment. Like, I felt like Andor was about ready to be like, I got you, bro.
I think he was, and he gets knocked off.
Yeah. So I don't know. I have high hopes.
It was incredible. We'll talk about it all today. I just want to say hello to the chat. We got Jeff Morris here, Space Cowboy, Toy Gigasaurus, Scott D, Retro Days. We got Charlie Weaver in the house, Lucha Johnny, Sarah Kelly, Kayla Silva, who submitted some memes today for Screen Memes.
Ooh.
Nelson A. And I think that's everybody. Yeah, I got some doubles in there. So thank you for hanging out with us tonight. My voice.
I hope the screen memes are easy to describe.
We got the best meme subscriber in the business.
The meme splainer.
But my voice is a little sore.
Is it from all the crying?
You would think. No, but
it was 10 minutes in. I started crying and I didn't stop.
I sang a lot, so I kind of my vocal cords are a little fried today. That's all.
Well, break out that vocal fry. I hear that's
I've got the lower register fine, but it's like get up to the higher stuff. I don't have it.
Anyway, like the lower one.
First, Ralph, I feel like you were pushing the spoiler territory in our group text.
I'm in the middle of teaching class today, and my phone starts blowing up, and I'm like, "What? You can't say those words on Geek Dad Life."
So that's why I left it in the chat.
So he said, this was exactly what Ralph texted the other two of us today.
Threw off my teaching game completely out the window. Couldn't think about anything but the episode.
Holy
ships, yeah, they're in the water.
Andor is my favorite Disney era Star Wars. To which I replied, "Okay, no spoilers." But
it was very clear.
And Matt was also like, bro, because Ralph was like said very nice things. Like,
you guys are 3 hours ahead of me, and you still didn't watch it.
So
I'm teaching. I literally have to get up out the door and teach in the morning. Meanwhile, you're just like, Oh, I guess I gotta watch this show in my PJs
at 5 a.m. But
yeah.
So then, Ralph closes his very, gushing, happy sentiments with seriously, though, enjoy. But then Matt replies with a thumbs up, which everybody knows. Thumbs up over text is F you.
What?
I didn't know
You
that.
didn't say this. You didn't say the spoiler I gave you.
I know. That was what I thought he was going to go for.
Yeah, that's what I thought he was talking about. It's a spoiler that I put on there.
You put, I can't hold it in. Turns out they've been building a giant Darth Vader in that prison, which made my mind go to Marvel 70s comics and how ridiculous some of the Star Wars stories were. And I just imagined this big, gigantic 1979 version of a giant Darth Vader robot in space.
Yeah.
I could see it, man.
Yeah.
I could see it.
Yeah.
So what essentially happened was,
what essentially happened was Jay and I were working, doing our jobs.
I'm not. I don't know if you know, Matt, but I got laid off last week, so I don't have a job at the moment.
Oh.
Yeah, he's totally free.
Oh.
But so this week's episode was a little bit different of live action Star Wars, a show I do on another channel.
Because this
guy's
is cartoon based.
But we started at 9 in the morning instead of 7:30.
Oh.
And so I was like sitting there for an hour and a half, like, what am I supposed to do here? Let me text these guys. I want to talk about Star Wars, but I can't.
It's like a mosquito bite, It's like I'm gonna itch around this.
Yeah.
That doesn't work.
But I really want to
the reason for my text was basically I'm hoping one of these guys saw it and was just like, oh yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
But you guys were so afraid of spoilers. I'm like, oh my God.
Well, there's nothing that liked it or
not. I watch it with my kids.
Spoiler, Andor gets out of the prison.
Okay.
There's no spoiler. Except there is one. There is one. And I wanted to use it as the artwork on my other show, Live Action Star Wars, every Wednesday morning. But I think there is a spoiler because we get one of the characters that we kind of been seeing throughout the series isn't who he seems to be.
Oh,
he's an Imperial officer who is
the ISB.
part of the rebels.
Yeah.
It was good.
We're going to talk about all of it today. We're going to recap, or not recap, but at least just dig into this episode, all the meat and potatoes of this episode.
We're not even 10 minutes in. We still want to talk about how Ralph almost spoiled us.
Let's move
How
on.
would I even spoil? There was literally, all I said was, holy S word.
Here's the thing. That to me can be spoilery because if somebody really likes it, that almost like frames the narrative before I go into it.
I immediately went into my Nick verse and I was like, well, it's total crap now. I just was like, no, this can't be good if Ralph liked it. I was like, I was already like
Space Cowboy, low blow Space Cowboy. What's Jay's excuse? He didn't have
That's the truth. Truth, Space Cowboy. Because I'm like driving in the morning, go to work. Here's the other caveat. Before I can watch Andor, my kids got to get done with their homework. Okay, because I got to watch it with my son. And my daughter, who I've told you, bit of a fraidy cat. There's been like multiple things during this show that she's just been like, oh, like, I don't like that. That's too dark or whatever. She was on the edge of her seat. She loved it. She was like fist pumping. I want to be a prisoner, rioting with these people and floating, and I'm going to save that guy because he can't swim. She already wrote her own fan fiction that he escapes. She was like, no, he didn't die. Somebody rescued him. So
I have a fan fiction on that. But first I want to know, did any of your kids cry during the episode?
No.
Yeah, I didn't. That's weird. That's crazy, man. That's
it's okay.
I mean, that's great. It's totally. I've cried during Star Wars.
Yeah.
Retro Day says John from Gen X Grove also laid off months ago. Tech. If people work in tech, it has been a slaughter, a bloodbath the past week. So many people laid off. But luckily, I've got GDL to keep me busy. So what I was actually working on this morning was my next video, this Star Trek Next Generation Playmates video. So it should be dropping tomorrow.
Talking toys?
No. You're talking toys over there? See, I can't do my high pitch voice. You talking toys? Anyway, Andy Silva's here. Good. So let's dig into it, gentlemen.
Yes, let's dig.
Yeah.
Let's go to the big thing here. The prison break,
Jesus Christ. All right.
I just
trigger warning.
I feel like I chose this image. It's also the thumbnail. And Ralph, I gotta criticize your thumbnail this week on live action Star Wars. Everyone should check it out.
Like I told you, it's
boring.
Well, here's the thing that's going on over there is I'm picking one character a week to showcase throughout the series. So the picture that I have for this episode was a man in an elevator. And it works perfectly for this episode, but it might be a little bit too soon to use that imagery.
Yeah, you went right for the jugular there.
But
I gotta say your placeholder. I mean, I'm gonna pull it up now.
Well, the placeholder. If the thing is, we haven't done a Dedra one yet.
Well, that's your fault because there's been some great Dedra episodes.
But we know she'll be around, so she was probably going to be on the Saw Gerrera one, but I don't think that's dude's coming back.
Sure.
So we used it for that.
Let me pull it up here.
Just pull up the page and you can see them all laid out all nicely.
Gosh, darn it.
Ooh, wow. So I love the graphics. Oh man. For those that are just listening at home and not watching.
There's no audio feed. It's only video.
Let me just have my oh, I see. Okay.
I feel like it's just not representative of the story here.
But if you know, you know. That's the only image that has two people in it. And I think I might actually be, oh my gosh, I might be able to butt in here and show you what the actual artwork's going to be.
Let's just break down a website.
Put that up. So this is what the album artwork's actually going to be, but I figured it's kind of a spoiler.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a huge scene that represents this episode. So I'm thinking Dedra will be next week. But so that's what's going on. That's why my image, I still wanted what is his name, Lido or Ludi or Lippy.
Lyndon?
I don't know.
Llewellyn.
But that's he's that. So
it's a double L name.
Go to liveactionstarwars.com and you'll see different artwork probably tomorrow or Friday. You'll see that artwork that I showed. But for the time being, Lonnie. So for the time being, that's I know it's not as it's not very representative of this episode, but I did Andy Serkis last week putting his hands over his head, and it's
this scene was a good one to
let's just dig
that
into
scene
it. Matt, just your thoughts of the prison break and arc and everything.
My thought on this moment though, where he's talking over the microphone and Andor is the one that's like, it has to be you. And even Andor is like in that prison scene right before they like let them know.
Yeah.
Like he's like, it's gotta be you. You have to tell them. And like Andor like pushes him right up to that edge.
Mm-hmm.
And then he breaks and he's just like, we're never getting out of here. No one's getting out of here. And I felt like this same thing with the microphone scene when they finally do get up there. And the whole time when it was zoomed in on the face, I kept thinking someone's going to shoot him.
Yeah.
So my cat's really enjoying this moment back here, if you can't tell. But I kept thinking someone's going to shoot him. And there was something about the microphone and him talking into it. It reminded me of K2 in that moment with K2 and Andor. And I was like, immediately, I was like, oh man, I hope this doesn't go bad.
Mm-hmm.
And when his voice comes over the intercom and it's distorted, I loved that little bit of twist because it's like, oh yeah, of course they have that distortion module on there, and hearing his words in this different modulation, but the words that come through and how, it just motivated everybody. It was very powerful. My cat really liked it too. So
yeah.
But I think, and we mentioned it earlier, but his call, like if somebody falls, pick them up, take them with you.
That's why I think he couldn't have died. I mean, like I felt like it's written in that story. Like, okay, he can't swim, which maybe he did drown and die. I mean, we haven't talked about the end scene and what that leads us to believe, but it's not to say he couldn't have survived.
Yeah. Or
he could have gone back in and taken clothes off of a dead body and posed as an Imperial officer.
Or, as someone pointed out, used a Boy Scout trick by using, your jeans as an air cushion, and use that as a flotation device. So
have you done that before?
Not myself, because I've never been in a situation. But
I have.
Jeans are really good to swim in too if you're trying to get to any underwater hatches or bases. They tend to help give you less resistance.
Do you need to have good abs?
It's
abs are key.
we spoke highly about spoilers, and then I'm talking to two people who did Lost podcasts where spoilers were just driven into you like a rosary bead. So I don't know. I was trying to go with something really. Why is it still on me?
Because it's your thoughts on the Prison Break
scene.
It
was amazing, spectacular, and it just kept ratcheting up. And by the way, from a set design, aspect, set production, you just have one workroom, and you get to shoot that workroom again for another level. It's so simple.
Yeah, right.
You don't have to redo that room that they've spent so much time on. And every single time another one gets liberated, my kids and I were cheering.
Yes.
We were literally like, yes, it was just so. And when more and more kept piling on, it really just, it felt like you were rising. You were the rising tide,
I loved it so much. Posting in some comments here. It makes a better story if we don't know if he lived or died. I agree with that. It is better. And then it leaves up to your own interpretation. Speaking of Lost, leaving some things up to your own interpretation makes it good.
I want to answer.
No. Nobody, and he has eventually found the First Order. Exactly. Maybe they cloned him to be Snoke.
That's true. There are certain things that took place on Tales of the Jedi that lead you to believe that there could be some connections to some other. Sorry, you haven't seen Tales of the Jedi yet because you only watched live action.
Oh, you haven't?
No, I haven't.
So, good.
Dude, I'm so in Andor mode right now. I'm so in Andor mode.
It's just 30 minutes.
It's 30 minutes of your time, maybe 40 if you.
It's probably an hour, but still.
We'll watch it right now.
Go ahead, leave and then come back.
Leave
and come back. Know how it goes.
We'll talk about Tales of the Jedi like we teased last episode about. We'll put it at the end of this episode.
Wait, was I supposed to watch it?
No.
Oh, okay.
The way they took the time to announce the breakout to everyone rather than just rushing out themselves really made it impactful. It wasn't just about getting out, but about getting everybody out.
Malshi, we're leaving. Let's go. Shoots out that window. It was great. I liked they kept showing the floor, which created tension. And the fact that Kino didn't jump onto the table. He told everybody else to jump on the table.
Yes.
He knows he's done. There's a lot of people that say, I'm going to die. He knows that unless there's a ship up there for him to get on, he's not making off this alive.
Yeah.
So when you see that moment at the end and then you think about the beginning where Andor keeps saying, it's got to be tomorrow. It's got to be tomorrow. He's essentially giving a death sentence to Kino. And Kino knows that. And it's a tough thing. And he's like, hey, listen, they might just fry our floor next week. This has to be done now. So it's either, so in his brain, it's either die in a week for nothing or die tomorrow.
Yeah. Right.
Trying to give these guys
that Andor gives them. It's just I'd rather die fight, or I don't want to die giving them what they want, or whatever it was. And then Kino,
I'd rather be dead in California than alive in Arizona.
He almost said, "Live together, die alone." He almost said that too.
Arrested Development. Lucille's Bluths. And they'll have a good laugh about it. There's a quote from a TV show, folks. If there's any viewers or listeners of this podcast in Arizona,
I feel like Arrested Development has permeated into the culture to such a point where I think most people get Arrested Development.
I hope so. There's just not snowflakes.
There's a bit when they're saying something over this last speaker about they don't know this yet, but when they figure it out, dude, you just told everyone. But clearly,
there are other, like, I think prisons there, right? Like they're not the only one.
Mm-hmm. There's like several of those towers,
right? So I think that was what he was referring to, and we do get, not to jump to the end because I don't want to jump to the end, but there is the illusion.
Kino wanted to jump, but he couldn't jump to the end.
He couldn't jump at the end. So you don't know that. Again, I'm with the fact that he made it.
He blew up his pants. Come on.
No, he totally did the Yoda on Luke Skywalker's back.
As he jumped off, he held the pants aloft, and they filled with air, and he wrapped them up.
Yeah, you have to tie. If you tie the ankles of the pants, and you go like that, they fill with air. I've done it. I was in a situation. And you don't care that I was in a situation where I had to do this, where this was necessary for me to get my merit badge. I had to do this.
Well, here's the thing, Ralph. I never was a Cub Scout, Boy Scout, any type of scout. I always wanted to be, though. But you know my father, he's a slacker and just never wants to do anything. So I never got to do it. But
and back then he just wore short shorts. So Jack just wore short shorts. He'd never get saved in the ocean.
But I gotta say, I don't know. Like I feel like humans instinctually know how to swim. Like
I mean, there's no better time to figure it out,
right? Hey, like I feel like
you fought to that moment. Why wouldn't
jump? You? Like you're gonna you're gonna kill you when they get to you. Like maybe you'll figure it out.
Yeah, I don't know.
Again,
it's tough to say. I don't know if there's anyone in the comments in the chat that are adults that don't know how to swim. Like I mean, I'm assuming it's terrifying.
You doggy paddle or something like. Humans are naturally buoyant, so like I don't. You just don't sink in the water.
Yeah, but it could be panic.
Exactly. I feel like it's more of a fear thing than an inability. But again, I've known how to swim since I was like 3 years old. I've always been able to swim, and so I just don't understand it. But for people that don't know how, is it more like their brain takes over what instincts will do? Because like even babies, you could put babies underwater and they close their mouth and they don't.
I feel like it would be panic. Yeah. If you're panicked and you try to swim, it might be a little bit tougher.
Yeah, exactly. It's the
you gotta have to have that motor skill. You have to have that muscle memory.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like if he feels like he can stay behind
or something, and
I feel like if he stayed behind and made sure that more people got out, that's one thing, and then maybe jump. I don't know, but I don't know. There has to be some sort of flotation device. I mean, it's a place built on water.
Yeah.
Maybe those. I don't know.
As a former state parks employee, it's most of the panicking that causes people to drown. That makes sense. Alias, Angel, Alias. I was hoping someone would help them through. I cannot swim, so I had swimming lessons over and over, and just can't figure it out. So again, I just maybe some people just can. That's I don't know how to drive stick shift.
Ooh, what? Huh? Why am I even here? Matt, do you drive stick? Can you drive stick shift?
I did. I actually learned to drive a stick shift while my wife was pregnant because we only had one vehicle and it was a stick shift.
And you're like, I can't drive. And
one of us has to get her to the hospital and it's not going to be her. So
you're like the Kino of driving.
So she was teaching me while she was pregnant how to drive the stick shift.
It is bucket list for me, for sure. I want to learn. I feel like I can do it. But I've never had a car with stick shift. Like when I learned.
Oh my gosh! Do your folks have a stick shift?
Most people, if you put them in a car with a stick shift, they'll just. Babies actually inherently know how to drive a stick shift. You just put them in one, and then you can watch them do their thing.
Please, I'm begging you, find a car with the stick shift and get Colleen or whoever to film your dad teaching you to drive a stick shift.
That would be
however old you are.
top shelf Bad Life stuff right there.
How did he survive in like the 70s and stuff?
I think he figured it out because my mom can drive stick. And so I think he can do it, but he's not. She taught him how to do it, but he's not good at it.
Jeez,
what you've missed, Brick Something, is we're talking about the opportunity for Kino to actually get a jet ski. Would he know how to use the stick shift, or could he actually drown or swim? We're kind of trying to figure out, because we're really invested in his character to this point. It's a very powerful character and moved us to start our own fan page. Save Kino.
Brick Something probably had the same driver's ed teacher as I did. Chances are,
probably.
Yeah.
But again, my driver's ed teacher had an automatic, so I just didn't learn.
Right. Sure.
Yeah.
But I also agree that I think it's more fun. Like I like the rhythm and the approach. So
we had the same driver's ed teacher, Mr. Privet.
Holy crap, that's so cool,
dude. So here's a story, and this is not, I mean, it's a little mean, but we in the class, he tried to put in a tape for a driver's ed VHS tape, and spent about a good 5 minutes while we all sat there and laughed because it was a laser disc player.
That's amazing. Yeah. Let's get back on track here. Andy Silva, I will say Kino is far better than Snoke. I agree. And I said this at the top of this video, at the top of this show, his performance is a tour de force. Like if he doesn't get an Emmy nomination for this 3-episode arc, if that's all it is, like, I think I've been we've been Andy Serkis fans since, Lord of the Rings, right? But he has done more. He's done stuff behind the camera. He's been just himself, not doing mocap. Yeah. But I don't.
He directed Venom 2.
This is the best acting performance I've seen from him, and he's done a fantastic job. Like I just recently rewatched again The Batman, and he's great in that. But this just the amount of emotions and his ability to do mocap to show expression so much that it captures it in a CGI. Him just being able to use his face, you can see him use every little.
Oh yeah, there was a moment where he almost went Gollum. I thought, it was that voice, like it was so close, but it just skated that line.
His facial muscles and just his control. Like I can't wait to watch it again, just to watch all of the nuances, because it was amazing, incredible.
Yeah. I guarantee you, he just sits in front of his mirror all day.
Right?
He's got to, right? Like he's recording himself or something. But
it was incredible, absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
So all of that to say, Andy Serkis, not that you need our approval, but amazing, bravo.
He's watching. I saw him in the chat earlier. You didn't name him.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay. And as Kayla has said before, once again, Andy Serkis is Zaddy. That's a Gen Z term.
I don't know.
He's a hot dad.
But what's the Z?
It's just like saying, it's like Zam Zaddy or damn daddy, like just being hot. It's a Gen Z thing.
You wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
It's you have to be born after 76.
I was born after 76. I was born in 77. I'm not that old.
I think this take is perfect. The way Serkis played Kino, so conflicted, you could see him struggling through and working up the courage to take that next step. I think that's what was so emotional about it, and why I cried so much, because it's just it hit me, like just his facial expressions.
Oh my gosh.
And when he would speak, it was just so moving. It was so moving.
Are you gonna be okay now?
I'm not, like, literally. I'm not kidding when I say that I looked at Kayla's memes. And I cried. I cried looking at the goddamn memes.
Look what Kayla's doing now.
You scared it away. You scared it away, Kayla. It's not here anymore. So
I've done it. Listen. I've been on podcasts where I start talking about stuff and I get all emotional too.
I'm not emotional now because I'm on stage, I'm performing, but
no, I mean, and no, I'm not knocking because this show has brought me to tears, Jay. I mean, we talked about it, I think, on the last episode. But it was
here too.
What's up?
Huh?
It was episode 7 when he goes back and he's revisiting and just that emotional scene with her and them saying goodbye.
I haven't, but I'll tell you what does make me tear up every single time in Star Wars is in Rogue One when Admiral Raddus says, "May the Force be with you," knowing that they A, accomplish their mission, and B, aren't going to make it out of their life. Like that part with the music is perfect. And if Admiral Raddus shows up in the next 2 episodes, I'm going to be like, but
I'm 1980. They can't decide which generation I actually belong to. The Gen X, Millennial, Oregon Trail generation. There's no consensus. I like the Oregon Trail generation, but modern people don't get it. But it's just, I just feel like I'm an elder millennial. That's what I am, an elder millennial. And Kayla's definitely Gen Z. Don't let her fool you.
Oh, that's sweet. I wish someone would call me Gen Z, but I'm an old fart.
Yeah, you're Gen X. I'm sorry, Ralph. Actually, you and Matt, you're both Gen Xers.
Yeah, I'm at the very end.
Yeah.
So I'm 76. So.
Gen X is like to 80 or 81 or 82. So I think you're well within Gen X.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I like to say that I'm at the end of it just to make myself feel.
You were born in 76.
I was, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 olds. Young.
Yeah. I don't even know how old you are. To me, you're still that freaking 21-year-old kid that did the Lost podcast.
Oh, thanks.
Oh,
you're talking to him. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
I was 20 when I started that. Yeah, I was 20.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
The galaxy far, far away.
So long. So far away.
Now you have
stay on target.
Kids that you're taking pictures with in the woods.
All right. Any other thoughts with the jailbreak? Cassian and that other guy are running out in the
Melshi.
Okay, now we can talk about them.
Sure, please.
Okay, you can see the copters, the choppers, the choppas that come in for them. You can see the searchlights in the distance, searching for people. Obviously, still in the water. So, that idea that maybe Kino got out, but then he got picked up by one of these things, and then has become Snoke later. Who knows? But
he's holding onto the bottom of it.
Yeah. But that idea that they're searching for them and that we're not quite off this planet. I mean, he got away from the prison, but obviously this sets up, the next episode and where these two are off running to. It said the name of the guy that was running with him at the end there.
Isn't it Melshi?
Yeah.
He's been there the whole time.
Yeah, no, he's totally been there.
He's in Rogue One.
He's what?
He's in Rogue One.
Oh,
he is? Wait.
Yeah.
Who is he in Rogue One? I missed that.
Melshi. Oh my gosh. If you can do an image search on Google for Melshi.
Yeah, hold on.
Melshi.
I just do Melshi Rogue One. He's one of the dudes. Oh,
okay. He's one of the dudes. Yeah.
Melshi.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Just type in Melshi.
It's auto-filling it with Google.
Yeah.
Oh,
do that image search.
Oh, this dude with the mustache.
Yeah.
The beard thing.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
I never put that. Wow, Ralph.
Isn't this show great?
I feel like you taught me something. And I'm from 76. So,
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah. Never put that together. That's a
spoiler alert, he dies.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, he dies.
Yeah,
nobody makes it out of there.
But now we know that these two on the run are kind of bulletproof. So
sorry, I think that's a spoiler then.
Ralph, you did it again.
You're right, Andy. The hair is what threw me off for sure. Because I would not have,
The only reason why I know it is because of James on live action Star Wars.
Oh,
the show that he does on Wednesdays.
Yeah, sounds like he's a little bit more on it with the cast.
He got it right away. Right away. I want to say it's because of a book or something. I don't know, but I had to bring him up on my Google search last week or the week before, and I'm like, oh, cool, that guy. So now we're gonna get so much weight added to this character that's kind of a sort of a backgroundish character in Rogue One.
Yeah,
and it's gonna make us sad when his death happens.
Wow.
So this show is making things like rad. Like I like that these sort of characters that they're putting in this aren't like huge, like galaxy changing characters.
Sure.
It's like it's just this guy over here. We got this guy over here. It's not like Bib Fortuna's in the prison, or
exactly.
you know what I mean? Like so yeah, Melshi.
And to Space Cowboy's point, I did think like, oh yeah, like they're still on this prison planet. They could totally run into a K2 droid, and this is how the meet cute happens, you know.
I'm thinking season 2.
Well, I mean that's
for sure.
That's what was rumored or said, but that doesn't mean that we can't get up to that very moment, you know. So
yeah,
I think I'm hoping this season ends with Andor coming face to face with Mon Mothma.
Okay,
and that sets up season 2 with their relationship on Yavin.
I don't know if I need them to meet, but I think I was talking to my kids about this tonight because I was like, what needs to still happen in Andor? And we were all kind of like, well, he needs to decide to become a rebel. Like that ultimately, you know, seems like the point that he needs to come to that conclusion.
Rebellion, isn't it? I rebel.
Not in the movie, right?
Not in the movie.
I'm just saying that, like, right? Like, don't you think that or do you think that's just like a season 2 by the end of this show, he's decided to become a rebel?
He's a rebel in this, like, this whole thing is him becoming the rebel leader or whatever.
He's definitely leading. Yeah.
A couple things I think will happen is, well, first of all, he's been in this prison for close to maybe a year.
Okay.
It sounds like the way they've been talking, it's been a while. And so his love of the Empire is there's no more love of the Empire. I'm assuming he makes it back to Ferrix. I'm assuming he gets that manifesto, and that's going to have an impact on him. We were kind of thinking that maybe he would have that manifesto while he was in prison and reading it there.
Yeah,
but I think it's back at Marva's.
That would make sense.
But
I could see
Ferrix.
I could see Marva being the last linchpin that makes him take up the
there's like a few moments in this episode like she's dying, you know.
Yeah. Because I mean, and again, like the scene that he had with her and her like pushing him away and letting go, like to me that just spoke to me on an emotional level for my own, you know, things in my own life. But you know, for the show to kind of reach those heights where it can at least make two of us cry, realistic tears. You know, Ralph, not so much. You know, I mean, maybe.
Well, listen, I know Ralph cried when like the fake Luke Skywalker showed up at the end of season 2 of Mandalorian. So,
that is true. Yeah, you did say that. That is, that's. I think it was on.
I mean, guys, I haven't seen Luke Skywalker. 1983 Luke Skywalker since 1983.
This is a judgment-free zone, Ralph.
If my cat wasn't here, I'd break out. Oh, my cat's not here. I'd break out the body pillow that I have of Luke Skywalker. No, Kayla's probably right. Aunt Petunia is not making it out of this season alive, and I think
it seems like Ferrix is going to be the big. We have 2 episodes left. They're going to be tied together. I'm assuming. Dedra,
I spent a lot of time building
Andor, Luthen. What's going on with Cinta? She's seems shady. AF, as the Gen Zers say. And then there's a shot of some other dude on Ferrix. Who is that guy? It was just a shot of this dude like staring, and I'm like, okay,
Uh-oh.
So
Hot girls here. Sorry.
Oh man,
I'm blocking them. I'm sorry if you need hot girls.
Oh man.
So I was thinking that was Cinta trying to like let us know what was going to happen.
I thought for you that was Bix,
yeah, but she's mentally like broken now.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
wow.
I'm not saying this.
Wow. You're done with her. I get it.
No, it's just
it's just what she's broken down.
I care about
you
her.
don't like women with baggage or people that have stuff they have to work
through?
She's damaged emotionally, so
yeah.
No, I just jeez, this is we'll see how she is, okay? I just want her to be.
Sorry, everybody. Matt's been canceled.
You can go to Cat 69 site.
That's fair. That's fair.
But I think I mean,
I'd be canceled long before this from everything on the RCAD.
Why are you still doing that show?
I will still be there for you, Bix. Okay, so yeah, Kayla will. Sure, make me look bad.
Brush your hair. Brush your hair. It's all gonna end up there. For weeks I've been trying to get this Dedra art up on our thumbnails where she's walking in Ferrex with two death troopers. It's an image that's been on the internet since day one.
Oh, okay.
And but I'm assuming that that's like Cinta's gonna call Luthen and Vel and Dedra's gonna be there. Andor's gonna show up there. It's all gonna come to a head there.
It makes sense because they spent the most amount of time setting up that set as well. Yeah. Like just set production wise, it's like, I mean, they built that city, and they made a point to bring in all of the stormtroopers to show the Imperial control over that area now. So
I bet it's gonna all center around this hotel that the Imperials have taken over as their office.
The writing's been strong this whole season, so I feel like whatever they have planned, I feel like, even if we see the writing on the wall that it's leading to this place, I still don't know how it's all going to go down or how they're going to connect to some of these things.
Right.
So.
And what's crazy about the show is that they're like, this episode made me afraid of one Imperial guard with a blaster.
Yeah.
Like that one dude was just up there picking off prisoners.
Yeah.
That's scary. And this show really isn't about like gigantic like shootouts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really hoping that the last two episodes isn't like the ending of Book of Boba Fett, which I was fine with, but it was just like an action sequence with a Rancor and it was just constant laser blasts.
There were a lot of set pieces. All of them didn't work.
Really,
like the whole biker crew thing. I mean, I'm still not really okay with them. So
I'm hoping that this sort of the climax of this season, because we do have 2 episodes, and I'm hoping it's sort of faithful to what they've been building, which is these characters and how these characters interact. It's fun to finally see when 2 characters show up in the same place, 2 storylines we saw with Dedra and Cyril. Finally, they came together and were like, "Oh crap, this is nuts!" So I'm hoping that it's not just like I'm Dedra, I'm Andor, and we're going to shoot each other. Like I have faith in this production. I feel like the action that's been there has been tense, and it's part of the story. Because there's only been a few action scenes in this series: the prison break, the eye heist, and then the shootout at the thing with the dropping weights.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, there's not really been a lot of set pieces. So I'm hoping they stick with that. Because right now, if they stick this landing, it is going to be my favorite Star Wars thing that Disney's put out.
I'm still so excited we get a season 2.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Because again, I think some of those beats, like, they don't necessarily have to pay them all off. I mean, as much as maybe Mon Mothma does meet Andor, maybe we do see those 2 together, and that would be a crazy cool thing. But I also don't need for that to happen in this season. I think, like I said, the only thing that I'm really looking for is that Andor has that resolve to be a rebel.
Would be fun?
To be rebel.
It would be fun if Andor got in that tower and started doing the little Morse code thing, and it went straight to Mon Mothma.
Oh,
well,
I don't think that'll happen.
Careful though, but let's talk about Mon Mothma.
Yeah.
Because she had a
scene. Yeah. Talk about scenes that made my 15-year-old daughter cringe, and just like she was.
So she meets with this mob banker, whatever he is, and he's like, "I'll launder your money for you, but I'm gonna maybe set up my son with your daughter, your 13-year-old daughter." And she's like, "F no."
He's like, "Let's put them in the same room and see what happens."
Shit. But,
and then that line where he's basically like, "Hey, I'm still in your head, rent free." Like that was like, oh, so creepy, so harsh. I did not.
So,
yeah.
Matt, you said your daughter was like, F no. So your thoughts first here.
My daughter, who's 15 and watched, like I said, like there are certain things about this show that she's always like, you know, and this was one of those cringe moments where she was just like, she kind of gets real vocal and she's like, "No, you don't get to do that." Like she's very, you know, and it's great. I love seeing that spirit in her, you know. So, but this was a scene that was like definitely at the heart of her, and this whole episode had her on edge because there's been some episodes this season where she's just been like, "No, this show's too depressing." This show actually had hope. This episode, I think, of all the episodes we've watched, I had that triumphant moment of hope, where all the prisoners are escaping, but specifically for Mon Mothma and where she is, it feels like she is trapped between a rock and a hard place, you know, because she does need to launder this money and she does need to dip her toe into the more seedy side of things, but how this gets resolved, I don't know. I mean, I feel like we're gonna see some highfalutin dating scene coming up next, where she's having a ball and he's there. So
I feel like Mon Mothma's daughter's kind of a turd. so that's probably where she's thinking about it. She maybe be like, you know what? All he's asking is for them to be in the same room and meet. Like, he's not trying to force anything, but at the same time, it's like if these two kids see each other, maybe. No, he wants it to happen, but he's saying like, "Oh, well, let's just put them in the same room and see what happens."
It was implied a little bit more. So,
but I mean, we all knew. She knew. Everyone knows what this dude was talking about, but her daughter's kind of a butthole. So here, go hang out with this boy while I get this money situation taken care of.
One hand washes the other. I mean, you know.
Hold on. So. In fairness, most teenagers are the worst.
Right.
So
I can't really talk about this. It's too close to home.
They don't watch.
My son is on the precipice. So he is like 6 months away.
Are they subscribed to Geek Dad Life too?
So Brick something said earlier, you know, THX 1138. I couldn't let these prison episodes go without that callback or that mention, because that image of the guards with the white in the white room and all of that, those white with aspects of and the batons, like it definitely.
Oh my god!
And then the end. I don't want to do spoilers for 1138, but there is some symbolic kind of plot things, right? About going up.
About an escape?
Yeah. I'm talking about 1138. Totally. Have you seen that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I love that movie.
But I mean that thematically, what happens at the end of this episode and 1138 similar in in those large.
How about that poor sap that was just coming in for his first day? He looked nervous already, and he fought, but he got put into a situation where it's like, oh boy, this is what I'm walking into.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine like your first day on the job? You're like, I'm just trying to make an honest check here at Taco Bell. Everybody else is like looking around you like today's the day. We're taking down the bell. And you're like, what do I do?
I guess I'll shock this guy and try to shoot him.
I'll take your order, please. Taking all the chalupas.
Okay, to put a pen in the Mon Mothma betrothal dilemma.
What's she gonna do?
She goes through with it.
Devil and angel here.
I feel like mentally she's okay. So Matt, you should be excited about that.
What?
I think I not to bring up my show. I'm going to try to change the subject like Matt did with.
Yeah, I'm on another show that I say more Randy things than this, but yeah, go ahead.
Well, I mean, you're not going to toss her aside.
No.
I'm agreeing. No, can I just say though, like seriously, like this Mon Mothma storyline is awesome because what little we know about her from Rebels and Return of the Jedi and Rogue One, like this is fleshing her out so much more to where like we actually get to see like that maybe her going to Yavin is such a big deal because she's been doing all this stuff on Coruscant.
Mm-hmm.
And Luthen's the one that kind of goes out into the field and sends people out into the field. So for her to go to Yavin in Rogue One is a huge deal. For her to be with the Rebel fleet in Return of the Jedi is a huge deal. So what's great about this show, it's only shown her on Coruscant. She hasn't seen firsthand the stuff that's going on. Mm-hmm. And it's fun to see her dealing with the stuff, and it would be nice to see her get her hands dirty and get in there and see what's actually going on, seeing the faces of these people that are leading this rebellion. And that's why I can't wait for her to eventually, whether it's this season or next season, meet up with Andor, and he could tell her about Aldhani. He can tell her about this prison thing and what they did to him, and all of this other stuff, Ferrix. So it's she has yet to want to fully go into rebel mode. Even in this episode, she's like, no. I still want to keep up in appearances. But once she meets Andor, she's going to realize like this is a real thing that's happening. And this is the bad stuff that's happening.
Yeah. You seem to know a lot about them meeting. I feel like you're giving us some spoilers here, like because I don't know.
Seen Rogue One? In Rogue One, their relationship, they're like she's like talking to him like they've known each other for a while. So I'm assuming they meet up before Rogue One. Whether this happens this season or next season, I don't know.
She may need a catalyst that propels her forward to decide like, oh, I'm 100%.
And that could be Andor.
It could be Andor. Could be the death of her daughter at the hands of like
that boy.
That boy.
This made me like this dude Tay. It made me like him less, but I guess he had to bring in this guy.
It's what she asked him to do.
Yeah.
Kind of like that thing is just like, okay, like you need to rein me in for my bad ideas. And then they start to rein you in for the bad ideas. Like, shut up. Why are you reining me in for my bad ideas? Well, you asked me to? I hate you.
This, as General Grievous 19 mentions, yes, this episode was amazing. Several thumbs up.
Let's talk about maybe I think the bow that tied this incredible episode together. And that is the reveal, as Ralph said earlier, the mole or the
Lonnie
and Luthen as Darth Vader.
Oh man, dude, that shot of him standing on that catwalk with his cloak flowing, and he doesn't have his wig on, so he's in like Luthen rebel mode now.
Oh, and
he's either
and straight up, like anytime we see a catwalk, like my kids were immediately like, "Oh, someone's gonna die."
Yeah,
like I was.
This scene was tense.
That doesn't mean someone's gonna die, but the whole time I was like, someone could die.
Lonnie stayed in that elevator for a reason.
No kidding.
He did not want to take a step out. And Luthen's using these fear tactics, just mentioning Lonnie having a child now.
Yeah.
Which is very, very Empire-like, is to use fear. and he's like, I'm going to use any tactic I can.
Yeah.
To get things to go my way.
He is the Darth Vader of the rebellion. I mean, he represents
he's the muscle. He's the side.
I mean, he says everything he sacrificed. Like he like lists it out again and again. And there's something about, he mentions something about being haunted by ghosts or like hearing ghosts, or there's several lines that he gives that are just like, those writers were just like pitching out like metaphor after metaphor with him. And I feel like it's showing like how devoid of any humanity he has left, but he has only one mission, you know? So obviously Luthen's not going to survive this series. There's just no way. He's too passionate of a character and too much of a figure that
I was kind of hoping he'd become Lor San Tekka. Like, I feel like
Lor
San Tekka in episode 7 is kind of a weird. I know it was originally supposed to be Lando in that scene.
Okay.
But because Lor San Tekka dies, they're like, oh, maybe don't kill off Lando.
Right.
So they created Lor San Tekka, and I was kind of like hoping these guys kind of have a similar look. Him and Max von Sydow.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Lor San Tekka had this more like, hey man, thanks for coming to my Love Beach shack. I've been living out here with these Jakku people. Got some really good drugs.
No, we're not going to Jakku.
Sorry, that's just my interpretation of Lor San Tekka.
But he doesn't have to die.
You're right. He doesn't have to die.
So the thing is, like, if Luthen dies, it's because of the rebellion, and he does this great sacrifice that helps the rebellion. But again, this show doesn't feel like that kind of a Star Wars show. Yeah, I feel like it's a little bit smarter than that. So I'm hoping that it's not something on Ferrix where he does this big thing to save Andor, and it's the spark that ignites Andor. I don't want any of that.
Andor's spark has already been ignited. It's been ignited by this prison experience.
Yes. Which is also why, like, I don't need to see Andy Serkis die. Like, we can just leave him be out there in the galaxy somewhere. And I'm hoping same for Luthen.
I like that idea of the duality of
because one of the things about like the prequels, though, like look at
Luthen
Clone Wars.
Just seems so big of a figure that he would have been in the heart of the rebellion at some point. We would have seen
Clone Wars. And the character Ahsoka, she's big enough to be in the original trilogy.
Do you watch Clone Wars?
No, but I did watch the Clone Wars.
Right.
I don't currently.
I rest my case. I see. Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like you can leave them alive.
If the California gentleman.
I mean, we haven't seen Mon Mothma. Where was Mon Mothma in episode 4 and 5? You know, like it's okay to have characters live in prequels and have them not show up in sequels. So I want this show to not be super cliche, and so far it hasn't. Because I feel like a show, if this show was done by anybody else, Kino, we would have seen Kino like some crazy death that with earth-shattering music, and it was everybody stood around and contemplated what happened, but that's not the show. That's what I like about the show.
No, the pacing of it was just perfect. It gave us just enough, but
I'm hoping the same for Luthen.
Yeah,
he doesn't have to die, and just leave him out there in case something cool happens down the road.
Yep.
Something.
I'm not. It's not like I'm pro killing Luthen. Don't get me wrong, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I just think he's such a big, magnanimous character on this show. I just don't understand how he would let go of the rebellion and not be in that war room on Yavin. So, but I don't know. We'll see.
Because he's on the front lines.
I hope he survives this season. I don't want him to be
in the background. Like he's clearly pulling strings and making things happen. But still, I thought it was an incredible scene.
Yes.
All right, we are coming up to the hour mark.
Man, time flew by.
It did. It did flow by. Flow by.
It rebelled.
That means it's time for screen memes sent in by our meme queen, Kayla Silva. And let's pull these up here. So she got super bent out of shape that I didn't. Plus, this one I must have missed it when I moved them over or something. So here's the one that she got all bent out of shape.
Oh, gonna tell my kids these two are Cyril and Dedra. Do we see it? Dedra. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a picture of Dwight and Angela, which is perfect. So, although I could also see Dedra as Jan. So,
yes, yep.
Mainly because Dwight knew where she shopped or knew her clothes, and it seemed like it had that level of creepiness that you really need from Cyril and Dedra. So,
well, Scotty asked, not called tattoo memes anymore. Well, that was for Obi-Wan, which was on Tatooine. There's no Tatooine here. But
how dare they?
Tattoo memes? I don't know.
How dare they not have Tatooine on this show?
That's why it's great. Let's keep moving on here. I burn my life to make a sunrise that I know I'll never see.
Oh wow! And they're just pictures of the people that died in Rogue One. Sorry, I'm not gonna explain each one.
This is the meme that made me cry.
That one is.
Those two words made me cry like a baby. Andor can't swim. It's just so I don't know, just so simple and beautiful and sad. And
I mean, you jump in, you find a couple other dead bodies in the water floating there, and you float on with them. I saw this in Watchmen. Anyway, keep going.
Andy Serkis. That's it. That's the tweet. Agreed. Can't agree more.
I love the dark contrasty graphics that they added to this. This
definitely added contrast for sure. We got
it's
some
like me passing my stone.
Casa memes, meme doors,
meme doors.
What's the name of the robot? What's the name of the little red robot? B2 Emo.
Yeah, B2 Emo.
Could it be B2 Mimo?
B2 Mimo.
Oh, that's pretty good. B2 Mimo.
All right, chat. Let us know.
By the way,
oh no! This meme. Okay, that's good. I like it. It's got stars on it.
It says, Kino, take these. Kino, and they're like little floaty devices for swimming in the water for kids. So they have gold little starfish on them and light blue.
That is my favorite of all of Matt's descriptions of memes on this.
By the way, I want to just point out that Stevie in the chat, I don't want this to go by, lost in all of this. She put, "Don't let him fool you. Ralph cries at Star Wars."
That was a minute ago. Let's see if I can.
I did mention that for Mandalorian. Okay. Was that season 2?
It was before the sex chats. Oh, here we go.
It's at 10:10. Yeah, there you go. Boom. We're all men, grown men here, crying about Star Wars.
Real men cry.
It mostly revolves around Luke Skywalker.
Sure, that's why
I'll cry even when it's not Luke Skywalker. Generally, when it's not Luke Skywalker, usually he's really whiny.
Whatever he's like, yeah.
He's whiny until episode 6, and then he's whiny again 7, 8, 9.
Not in 9. He's not whiny in 9.
That's true. He's a ghost. He's pretty happy in 9.
He's like, I'm finally dead.
Yeah, finally.
Rise of Skywalker is awesome.
I hate it. We won't talk about that right now.
Like half of it.
Climb, they all said.
And it's pictures of people that we assume are dead, because I don't accept that Kino's dead, but it does have our favorite little blue boy and K2. So I can't remember that kid's name. Unforgettable. What's that?
Kid McJenkins. That was his name.
Kid McJenkins.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. That checks out.
I can't believe he didn't cry during Titanic. Do men even have feelings? Can't swim and just guys wrecked. That was me. crying.
By the way, as an artist, I don't understand some of these graphics that people use and where they come from, where they
I think
start.
it's the point.
It's
I think
just
the point.
so bad. Okay, go ahead.
Is there a meme of the Titanic door?
Spoilers without context.
Oh man, and it's got Planet of the Apes. You know how much I sacrificed, and it's that image of William Dafoe. Is that from Spider-Man?
It is from Spider-Man, yes.
Yeah. And then it's got is that
Shawshank
Redemption in the rain. So, and Help, I Can't Swim, which is a hilarious book story. But sorry, this was a boring explanation. Everybody got this joke. Oh man, it's a really good one though. I like spoilers without context.
Those are my favorite.
The entire Star Wars franchise right now.
Yeah, but if you've seen that movie, if you've seen Cliffhanger,
she dies, so doesn't she?
Yeah, she slips out.
Yeah, she doesn't live.
And if you've seen Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls,
yes,
it's a raccoon.
I disagree.
And I was gonna say we had a Shawshank Redemption line. And I was like, oh, Chicago, you're out. He's out. That's another Ace Ventura 2: When Nature Calls.
When he's in the animal and it gives birth to him.
The rhino? The mechanical rhino?
I had pot brownies with my girlfriend, and I think they had just kicked in. This is back in the 90s. And
when it was totally legal.
I went and saw that movie in theaters.
It was 97.
Yeah, 97. We were seeing it at the dollar theater too. So it was just a couple months later. Completely lost it when that scene happened. Like it was just
that is a scene. That
is a scene. So
I wonder if you could take that image and apply it to like one of these memes.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Like him giving birth, like instead of this, it's the fake rhino that's the entire Star Wars franchise right now, giving birth to
Andor.
We just workshopped this. It works.
Oh my God! Send in your recommendations for that meme. Life at Gmail. Is that goddamn email? There it is. Here we go. All right. And is this the last meme? I don't know. This is where we keep all the bad episodes of Andor.
Oh, nice. There's none. There are none.
Agreed.
Oh man,
I agree wholeheartedly.
But it's making me. I have faith in this group, but I'm super anxious for these last two episodes. I don't see how they could mess it up, but I'm like,
10 flying so high. It's kind of like the penultimate episode, like Game of Thrones style, Game of Thrones. That can be awesome. But to knock one out of the park on episode 10, the penultimate,
maybe there's a Game of Thrones thing though, where like that was the peak, and now it's gonna okay, let's resolve stuff before season 2.
But episode 6, the Eye.
So good.
Yeah.
I have a prediction.
Well, let's finish this last meme here. Staying up thinking about all the possible Andor Lego sets. Staying up thinking about what's going to happen in the next episode of Andor. That sets it up well. Gentlemen, where do we go from here?
I have a feeling Andor is going to become part of the rebellion. He's going to steal the plans for the Death Star. Oh, remember in episode 2 when they were building that giant thing? Count Dooku had that hologram of that brown spaceship. I think it's a space station, and Andor's gonna get the plans to destroy it.
Cool.
I don't know what's gonna happen, and I don't want to be able to predict what's going to happen because so far, this show is like it's unpredictable. I haven't been able to be like, this is going to happen. We all knew it was going to be the Prison Break episode because they're doing a sort of 3-episode format where there's story arcs that take place over 3 episodes. Episode 7 being sort of an in-between episode. Mm-hmm. But even if you were to say like, oh, that's not part of those 3 story chunks, it's not like filler.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't, there's nothing in it. Everything seems so well planned. I don't know what to expect. I just expect Andor and Melshi to escape somehow. They might not even show it. They didn't show us how Cinta got off of Aldani.
Yeah, and they never showed us how Bix got captured either.
Yeah.
But they decided to, hey, we're going to spend some time on some terror interrogation.
Sure.
Sorry, I was working up to it. Terror interrogation. So, I don't know where this episode is headed. Too late on me petting the cat. Sorry, that moment has gone. But I do think that Marva, I still stick with, I think Marva is a catalyst. That is his surrogate mom. And there's nothing that's going to hit.
Is he going to find his sister?
I think that's a bigger thing yet.
Yeah.
I think
that's a season 2 thing, maybe.
And I think it's something, one of those things that, like, let's say they don't address it in these 2 episodes. What's to say that we don't pick up Andor and he's deep in the rebellion now, and then all of a sudden he hears his sister's name, and then it's like, boom, all of a sudden I'm no longer part of your rebellion, man. I'm going out and I'm going to try, sorry, I'm just brainstorming here. So
I like the ideas. I like them. But we'll have to see what happens in the next episode 11. Only 2 episodes left. We'll be
Are we going to be back?
11. So hit the subscribe button and that bell icon so you don't miss it. Hit the like button if you haven't done that yet. Thank you, everybody, hanging out with us in the chat tonight. I have not updated the scroll for the patrons, so I don't have a lot of the new patrons on here, but I'll do it anyway. I needed that before the next Toy Geeks, for sure. We got a ton of new patrons last week. That felt bad for me that I lost my job.
Let's see if I can point my name. There it is. Oh, as I nail my.
Still not a patron is Matt. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it.
I
didn't see his name. Yeah, you're right. I don't see his name on here.
Yeah. Are you talking
interesting
about me?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Oh, okay. I meant to get around to it.
Sure.
All right, I'll do some lifting tonight.
Yeah, I'll work on the rope skills here. So
it's pretty light considering
isn't it enough that I just show up? Do I have to be a patron too?
You don't have to be. You
don't. I mean, I just learned about your job, so
Yeah, no pity, patrons, please.
You don't watch Toy Geeks every Sunday at 9?
That's a big show. That's a big show, man.
Yeah,
that's a big one. That's the big one.
That's the big one.
That's what we call appointment television at the Opple household. Just letting you know.
Well, thanks for having me on here. I always appreciate talking Star Wars. If not, I would just be doing Owen and Brews Barbecue, where you can hear Chris and Nick and I talk about episodes 1 through 6. They give their opinions. Spoiler alert, Nick gives it a B-. So
that's pretty good. Nick B- is like most people's A+, so we'll take it. General Grievous 19, welcome and subscribe. I hope to have you more for future episodes.
What can be an
A? He is an enigma. He is not a sensible person. And on that note, everybody, we'll see you
talk about it
next time on live discussions of Andor, Wednesday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. See you then. Hasta luego. And goodbye.